Grace, are you good? Sally, are you good? Excellent. Good evening, everybody. At this time, I'd like to call to order the September 6, 2022 meeting. Would you please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Here.
Here.
Germany.
Here.
Ms. Willenbecker?
Here.
Mr. Reddinger?
Here.
Ms. Lloyd? And Mr. Strom are absent.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to take a quick recess to executive session to discuss personnel and potential litigation. We won't be long. We'll be right back.
Workshop reports, yeah, versus council. I believe that's where it is.
Yeah. Okay. Must be business for this one, but these things we hang around, so it's different.
They're eating the main rice.
Good? What these had been, some of that stuff in.
Wasps are carnivorous. So they fly in and they're looking for the bugs that are stuck in flavors and then they abscond with them if they're
Okay.
good. More useless information.
That's interesting.
That's why they like to come to your picnic and land on your hamburger. I don't believe it because they're carnivorous.
Never had them do that, just have them go to. Sure. Then they end up in your mouth.
Yeah, that's a bad day.
Yes. Hey, Joe, I'm at a meeting. Did I see it?
Crazy kids. $36,000. That's secured. This is the main gate going in and out of the shop. Reminds me, I never heard back from McClure about fan. It's the one that somebody would come off and never put it back again. For the restaurants downstairs. That's what means they're going, they have invoices. That flashlight for one of those ones that comes in the kit. It's just there for scale. Don't get from. Look through the pocket. Local youth.
Oh, yeah, he's the teacher who's right. So that,
I took this the other morning. I happened to turn down that street erroneously. Was sad that I did. they come up with what they want.
Thank you, everybody, for your patience. At this time, I'd like to report on our executive session we held on August 16th. In the executive session we just held, we discussed personnel, real estate, and potential litigation. No action was taken. At this time, do I have public comment on agenda items? Seeing no public comment, agenda item number 1.
I'm looking for a motion to approve the council meeting minutes for August 16th, 2022 meeting as submitted.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Miller. Any questions or comments?
I have August 17th on these minutes.
You're correct.
Should be the 16th?
It should have been the 16th.
It should have been the 16th.
Could we have a motion to amend the August 17th date on the minutes to August 16th?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Kluskevich, second by Councilor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Going back to our original motion? Any questions or comments on approving the minutes? Or did we just do that? We just did that. Okay, we're good. All right, agenda item number 2.
We have a motion to approve payment of bills as shown on the accounts payable list dated September 1st, 2022 for the period August 12th, 2022 through September 1st, 2022, to ratify approval of such bills already paid and to authorize the appropriate officials to take required action to make said payments.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Miller, second by Councilor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments on the bills? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 3.
It's for the Caustic property. A motion to adopt resolution 2022 oh, I'm sorry.
Elizabeth Feather here on behalf of Barbara Costick, who's the executrix of the estate of Jeannie Costick and the trustee under the will of Edward Costick. I'm here in follow-up to the July 19th meeting in which I presented and the council agreed to accept ownership by the borough of Dauphin County tax parcel numbers 42033075 and 42033076, which are 2 parcels located east of Few Avenue. My client, Barbara Costick, has executed the deeds, which were reviewed by Attorney Diamond, and I'm here to present those deeds for acceptance by council this evening.
Okay.
Excellent. Any questions for the solicitor for the Costicks? Sally?
Okay, now I'm going to ask for a motion to adopt resolution 2022-19, accepting a gift of unnumbered real property east of Few Avenue for parcel numbers 42-033-075 and 42-033-76.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, I will record the deeds.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Agenda item number 4.
This is for the IT managed services that we had sent out an RFP for and received bids back, and they were reviewed. The IT management services that we're going to ask for a motion is for Higher Information Group, and they came in at the lowest rate for the services that we are requesting. So I have a motion to award the IT managed service contract to Higher Information Group LLC in the amount of $6,923.75 per month for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Miller, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 5.
This is for the WREP Intergovernmental Cooperation Agreement.
Yeah, and let me kind of interject here. Council may recall, we previously approved this is that intergovernmental cooperative agreement for the MS4 projects. And at the time, we had redlined counter-proposed language in there, and the approval was contingent upon the county accepting that. And if it was not fully accepted or was substantially, materially different, we would bring it back. In the end, they've agreed to the concepts that get us where we want to be, but there are enough changes red line wise. I thought it was more appropriate to bring it back, have it reapproved. Conceptually, this isn't merely this one project potentially. This will also be like a master agreement where going forward will be offered, and all the municipalities will, whether we want to participate in other projects. Now, these projects may have maintenance obligations and things for several years, and if you're in a project, you're hooked to that project for that block of time. You can get out at the end of your MS4 permit, and you know, so it's not a permanent thing, but we will have to look almost at each project, whether we want to participate or not. So that's the concept. This is the first one off the ground, so we'll see how it works out in the long term. It's hard to tell. These are very demanding push-down requirements on all the municipalities. It makes sense to try to amortize them over, blocks of municipalities. They're tough to explain to the citizens because you have something going on. For most municipalities, going to be outside of their municipality, even though you get these credits. So we're getting off the ground here. We'd recommend approval again in lieu of the prior one. So this will replace the prior approval with the new document that's provided. And all the big concepts are the same as, we wanted them to be, but a lot of different wording in there.
And the monies are coming from ARPA funds as originally planned, so.
That's the most important.
So can we have a motion to authorize council president to execute the intergovernmental cooperation agreement for the creation and implementation of the Dauphin County's Regional Water Resource Enhancement Program between Middletown Borough and Dauphin County?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Willenbecker, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments?
I had a quick question, if I may. Matt, are you like a point of contact for this project?
I believe to date, since it was more in the paperwork stages, Ken was typically the point of contact, but I believe that once we get into it, it would either be Greg or myself. Greg is our MS4 person,
Okay,
so it'll be one of us.
okay.
Yeah, in most municipalities, it's the MS4 contact. Now, some of those municipalities, they're not a build-out borough, so they actually have fields and things, they are out doing projects in a way that aren't physically possible in Middletown or in Harrisburg or Steelton. So some of them have very active MS4 departments and, you know, folks that are really working on projects and planting trees and holding seminars. But it typically would be the MS4 contact that's dealing with them day to day.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 6.
This is in reference to the Hoffer Park change order number 1. We're asking for a motion to approve change order number 1 for Hoffer Park, extending the contract completion time of the project to October 28th, 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 7.
This is a motion to approve payment to Rogel, Inc. for contractor application payment number 1 in the amount of $531,909.16 for the Hoffer Park project.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 8.
This is reference to Oak Hills Park payment. I'm asking for a motion to approve payment to Columbia Excavating LLC for contractor application payment number 1 in the amount of $124,472.01 for the Oak Hills Park project.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Miller, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 9.
This is the resolution for the Main and Vine Street traffic signal. We're asking for a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-17, authorizing the Public Works Director or the Assistant Public Works Director to sign and submit the traffic signal maintenance agreement for Main and Vine Street, along with future modifications and applications for traffic signal approval to the Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 10.
Oh, this is different. Okay, this is the ordinance in reference to one-way for Roosevelt Avenue. Am I looking at the right one?
Agenda
Yeah,
item number
okay.
10.
This is a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-1393, amending Chapter 252 Vehicle and Traffic to designate certain sections of East Roosevelt Avenue as a one-way street.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 11.
This is in reference to placing a stop sign at Oak Hills and Pine Street. Asking for a motion to adopt ordinance 2022-1396, amending Chapter 252 Vehicle and Traffic to designate the intersection at Pine Street and Oak Hill Drive a four-way stop.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments on the stop sign? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 12.
This is a motion to advertise ordinance 2022-1392, amending Chapter 235 of Streets and Sidewalk to make certain revisions and to establish additional requirements relating to street and sidewalk use.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 13.
This is in reference to the Police Department manual. Motion to advertise ordinance 2022-1397, amending Chapter 60-2, approving the Middletown Borough Police Policy and Procedure Manual.
So moved.
Second.
Fix 'em.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Miller. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 14.
This is a motion to accept Tom Strome's resignation from Borough Council and to advertise for the position.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 15.
This is a motion to approve the 2023 minimum municipal obligation for the Middletown Borough non-uniform pension plan in the amount of $68,518.53, the non-uniform defined contribution pension plan in the amount of $13,888.32, and the Middletown Borough Police Pension Plan in the amount of $237,535.36.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Seitz, second by Vice President Willenbecker. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 16.
This is a motion to approve a transfer of funds from the water sewer account to the pooled cash account in the amount of $700,000 to reimburse the pooled cash account for water sewer legal expense.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 17.
No, you're
No,
right.
17.
Yeah, 17. This is in reference to the pole attachment agreement with DQE. It's ready to be approved and authorized the acceptance of the agreement. So I'm asking for a motion to adopt Resolution 2022-18, authorizing the acceptance of the pole attachment agreement between DQE Communications LLC and the Borough of Middletown.
I have a question before we move on. What are they planning to attach to the poles?
Matt, do you know?
Do we have any, were we provided with any information or specs? I'm
I
sure-
believe it's fiber.
Okay,
Yeah, I believe they're doing fiber.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So moved.
Oh, okay.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Seitz, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Agenda item number 18.
This is a motion to enter into an agreement with Glace Engineering Associates as provided by the proposal dated August 8, 2022, for engineering and consulting services for water and sewer lease agreement issues.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Miller. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries with one no. Agenda item number 19.
There will be three motions. This is in reference to the full-time police officer hires. The first motion would be to approve the proposed side letter agreement between the Borough and the Middletown Borough Police Officers Association, substantially as presented to council by the solicitor, authorizing, subject to the terms of that side letter agreement, a one-time hiring incentive for full-time police officers hired by the borough in December 2022 through January 2023 in the form of reimbursement of the cost of tuition for the Hack Police Academy of approximately $5,750, and authorize and direct the president or vice president to execute such agreement on behalf of the borough.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Kluskevich. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The second motion is to approve, contingent upon the police union's confirmation of its approval of the side letter agreement, the proposed memorandum of understanding between the borough and the applicant designated by council as new hire number one, concerning the offer of a one-time hiring bonus in the form of such document as presented to council by the solicitor, and authorize and direct the president or vice president to execute the document on behalf of the borough.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Seitz, second by Counselor Miller. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Third motion?
The third motion to approve contingent upon the police union's confirmation of its approval of the side letter agreement, the proposed memorandum of understanding between the borough and the applicant designated by council as new hire number 2 concerning the offer of a one-time hiring bonus in the form of such document as presented to council by the solicitor, and to authorize and direct the president or vice president to execute the document on behalf of the borough.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice President Willenbecker, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Up here it just says new hire number 1. May just want to adjust that.
Oh, on the second one?
It's correct in the body, it's the title that's
Oh,
incorrect.
sorry about that.
Here, oh, here, just take that.
Okay,
Up here it says new hire.
okay, so that's what you say, number 2.
Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 20, we're going to be skipping at this time. Agenda item number 21.
This is in reference to the electric permit. This is a motion to approve the modified electric permit application as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Motion carries. Agenda item number 22.
There's 2 motions to this. These are requests by staff. They've received notification from dealerships that due to shortages of vehicles, that must be ordered now in order to receive in 2023. So the reference to the police department will be getting rid of 4 cars due to maintenance issues and is requesting to purchase 2 vehicles. Each lease will be approximately $19,000, which would make the 2023 budget approximately $53,000. Motion to approve the purchase of 2 police cruisers due to dealership order deadline for vehicles for arrival in 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, second by Counselor Seitz. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Oppose? Motion carries.
Obviously, Coase is having the same issue, and they would like authorization to purchase as was budgeted in the 2022 budget. Motion to approve lease purchase of a vehicle for Coase as budgeted for in the 2022 budget.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Counselor Kluskevich, seconded by Vice President Ellen Willenbecker. Any questions or comments?
Is Codes removing any vehicles or?
Adding to the fleet.
We will have a new disposition list for you.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion carries. Before,
Just one, Dan, can you please tell council when the last purchase was before this one that we're making? You know, the year?
It was 2019, I believe, was the last.
Grace, can you just put that in so that if somebody looks at the minutes, they see we haven't made a purchase since 19? Okay, thank you. Thanks, Dan.
before we move on to general public comment, while we're all here and while we have Josh with HRG here, one thing I wanted to bring to everybody's attention, kind of discuss, we're doing a major renovation at Hoffer Park, and one thing I think we overlooked was a welcome sign. So currently, right now, we have the Hoffer Park going across the entrance. I was thinking possibly to like the left of that, doing a nice sign, kind of like the same feel when you go into Harrisburg City, how they have the welcome to Harrisburg and the flag posts and the 3 flags. What's everybody's thoughts on maybe doing like a little Middletown sign with some flag posts, lighting it up, having like the Middletown flag, state flag, American flag, obviously. Like a welcome sign. I feel like
I'm okay with it.
I mean, I guess what I'm asking is everybody okay with asking HRG to present us with some options for a welcome sign? And does anybody have anything they'd like to see in that welcome sign?
I think, oh, go ahead, Ellen.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
No, no.
I think it's a great idea, although I'd like to see the flags in the park, not at the entrance.
That was one of the things that HRG had noted as part of the park study, that even on Hoffer Park, there are 3 different styles of signs in the park itself, noting that it's a park. So one of the things that they had recommended, and I don't know if we want to hold off and see, but one of their ideas was to have consistent park signage everywhere so that we don't have a mix match of different things, just I'm throwing it out there.
Yeah, the good news would be Tracy Strickland, the one that was with on that site visit. She'd probably be the first one I'd go to pick her brain on this type of thing. So
I'm just
yeah, we
throwing
can
it out,
certainly.
so-
You know,
get
that
her
is an
input.
interesting point, because Caitlin gave us a couple of parks to visit, just to inform our discussion at the meeting last week. And in our visits, it was clear that other parks had signage. Now, some of these parks were larger than Huffer Park, but nonetheless, when people drive into Huffer Park, they don't know the size of it. If they've been welcomed to Little Middletown, they're going to maybe need some directional to it. So that idea of a welcome sign, but in concert with tidying up maybe some directionals, main pavilion, Little Middletown, and so on, seems right as part of our review of the parks. So thank you, Josh.
And what I had in my mind for this sign was more of a statement, like we're doing a massive renovation and we currently don't have anything to really welcome you to it. So that's what was in my mind. That's what I was visualizing.
Are there any excuse me? Are there any design elements anyone has, like stone, wood?
You taking down the 2, like with your, right now there's 2 telephone poles with a wooden thing.
Yeah, I in my mind,
It's kind of hokey.
in my mind, that needs to be
Yeah.
decommissioned. We're starting with a new era. That park is no longer here, obviously.
So are we asking for a total signage program, not just the welcome sign?
I mean, that would be my only thing, is just we're consistent, because I know, like, Greg had talked to me about getting a price for a sign in Oak Hills, and that would match kind of like what we have behind Borough Hall here.
So, okay, hold on, time out. Matt.
Right.
Okay, I'm not talking about a little, I'm talking like when you drive into Harrisburg City, when you get off the ramp, you are fronted with a massive stone welcome to Harrisburg that is lighted with 3 flagpoles. I'm looking for Hoffer Park, something like that. I'm not saying we do that kind of signage at every park. I'm not saying we shouldn't have consistent with signs.
Should have that type of thing at the 4 entrances to the town, frankly.
Well, you should, yes, too, but we're going to be opening or Little Middletown in a blink of an eye. I mean, it's going to be done here before you know it. And
So again, are we talking about a full signage program or just a single sign? Since the idea of the full signage program kind of came up, and to Matt's point, if we're starting to line up the look, this sign would have to be part of a larger look.
It doesn't matter to me how you want to go, I would just ask that we have consistency throughout all of the signage that we want to do.
Yeah, but Matt, to this point, we're not, what I have visualized, we're not doing at every park. We're not going to have at this park here a massive stone or wood welcome to this park with 3 flagpoles and lighted. We're not doing that at every park. It's not relevant. That's just, no.
I believe what you're asking for is extremely expensive, I'm sure HRG, I think Pinnacle paid for that one going into Harrisburg.
Well, we are putting in $1 million playground, by the way, and right now we have 2 wooden poles with an old Hoffer Park sign going across. So this project was, or this portion of the project was overlooked, and before you know it, we are going to be hosting a major event and welcoming guests, residents, other elected officials to this park, and we have overlooked this, in my opinion. What that sign may or may not look like, I don't know yet. I'm asking everybody here. I know what I have envisioned. I'd love everybody else's input, but I'd like to at least get HRG to maybe give us some direction, maybe to do some renderings with the input that we give them.
I mean, the playground's paid for, so
Without
why don't
tax.
you just Why doesn't the body tell HRG a budget? Because I
That
assume
would,
you pay this.
that would be extremely helpful, like a range, I don't need a budget, but a range at least of
Right.
what you would expect to pay.
Because then maybe they can do renderings based on the monetary amount you give them. I'm sure they're creative enough to give you a couple, and you could say, well, I like
mean,
that,
yeah.
I like this, combine them, you know.
I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit on how elaborate you want to go with this, but, you know, obviously the price tag is going to come with that. So I think, yeah, if you could provide a ballpark figure of what kind of price tag you would be willing to put towards it, yeah, we'd be happy to get some more information and renderings or examples.
Is 10 to 50 too narrow or too broad of a scope?
No, I mean, it's broad, but yeah, no, we can give you some examples.
I mean, I don't
of
think
what-
anybody here wants to spend $80,000
Sure,
on a
no.
sign, but I don't think $5,000 is going to cut it.
Sure.
I think-
No,
We spend 90 on the clock, but
Well, we just spend 90 on a clock.
I think give them a range and let them come up.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
we can
10
do that.
to
Give
10
a
to
couple-
50.
Yeah, sure.
And anybody want to see, I mean, it's going back to the stone versus wood. I mean, it is an outdoors feeling down there. I don't know, wood, I don't know.
Stone's more elegant, wood's more woody.
It is. It's just, there's a lot of
Yeah.
trees and,
I mean, yeah, I think we can incorporate both of those things into some examples and provide you with some high-level estimates, so.
and keep in mind, we do have power there. So, all right. Is everybody okay with at least seeing some concepts from HRG? And going from there? All right, excellent. Thank you for
Time
that.
is of the essence.
Yeah, time is of the
Yes.
essence.
I was hoping to have something for you tonight, but Tracy's been on vacation all week, so.
No,
If he gets back, I'll get on her for that.
no worries.
Budge had his hand up.
It's okay. At this time, do I have general public comment? Mr. Still? Good evening.
I thought you might like to know that Middletown is in the top 5 in municipal taxes. And also, the county, as of last year, hasn't raised their taxes in 17 years. I wonder if that's because they don't have and sell electric. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Still, for the data.
I'd like to know more about that. Can I ask him?
Sure.
Mr. Still, what do you mean by that comment?
Well, we raised our taxes last year for this year. We voted to raise, not we, you voted to raise the taxes last year for this year. And you're going to do it 4 more times so we can buy transformers, pay for electric. Well, if you didn't have electric, then you wouldn't have to borrow that money, would you?
But it's my understanding right now the electric on the West Shore is extremely higher than it is here. I was just told local business in town here is paying $1,000 a month. Same business on the West Shore is paying $5,000 a month.
Oh,
That came directly from the business owner who spoke with that business owner.
well, I'll say this. Why don't you do a 10-year comparison?
That business owner did say over the last few years it got better here. It was worse here versus.
Oh, all right.
Jack, if I could piggyback off what Scott just said, I think our electric rates in comparison, I've heard from businesses and residents alike, that if you actually do a apples-to-apples comparison, Middletown is better. And more importantly, this 5-year plan that council implemented, I know that it's difficult, it's a hard pill to swallow, but it's because the prior administrations never had the guts to do the right thing. These tax raises are designed to get you off the electric transfer. If that was done, if we were down to a payment in lieu of taxes situation, we wouldn't be raising these at all. That's the point. So your prior administrations that for years said, oh, we didn't raise your taxes, but continued to hire more and more cops, continue to hire more and more people, and expend and take on the increases that are associated with just doing business as a government and in conjunction with the fluctuations of an economy, to just never raise taxes is probably one of the most irresponsible things you could ever do. No one ever likes to do it, but I can remember Ben Kappenstein sitting right there saying, my gosh, look at what we pay in medical every year just for our employees. If you're not raising taxes consistent with inflation, you're constantly going to be behind. So I applaud this council for doing the right thing, and I'll stand by them doing it, because it should have been done 10 to 15 years ago.
Well, maybe you ought to talk to the county and see how they didn't do it for 17.
County's not, I'm not even going to, a county-wide comparison to this government running a town of 10,000 people is not an apples-to-apples comparison.
And they have an expanding tax base.
Fair point.
Well, that's my thought.
I will say, I asked Mr. Wilsbach and Mr. Kleinpeter to do a comparison with us and other electrical companies, and we are by far doing good. Every PP&L, Med Ed, they all raised their rates 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%, and we're holding the line.
My dad just got killed in the Lehigh Valley on electric because of PPL. 25%. 25%.
Yep, and we're not.
You're far better with your electric rates, and the only reason, I want to reiterate that, the only reason your taxes, assuming council sticks with their plan, which I pray they do, that's because of prior administrations dropping the ball. This transfer from the electric fund to the general fund, funding the police, funding the administration, funding the operations of borough government, should have been addressed 10 to 15 years ago. It's the same situation when they built the new water sewer plant and didn't raise rates to cover the cost of the water sewer plant.
I mean,
You know what I'm talking about.
Mr. Stowe, I have a question for you. If we were to give our system over to PP&L tomorrow, your electric bill will go up 25% from what it is right now. Would you not much rather have a small tax increase of like $80 a year versus a
$80 a month.
versus 25% a month?
Well, I'll go back to my original statement. I said do a 10-year comparison. Do a 50-year comparison once.
Well, 50 years, we are at 1 cent a kilowatt hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, and for 60 and 50 years, that was higher than everybody else. I'll bring the documents in the next meeting. I passed that document out before, back in, I think, the 80s. I think Med Ed took us to court, and the court said, well, for 60 years, you overcharged Middletown. You don't want to talk about that, and you don't want to talk about the time when Stonehill was here, when we were 19 cents a kilowatt for 2 or 3 years, where everybody else was under the PUC freeze or whatever it was. Nobody wants to talk about those times.
What is it that you would propose that we cut on the general fund side then?
Well, if I'm just saying, why don't you compare 50 years, and for all the years, like I said, when Stonehill was here, it was 19 cents a kilowatt.
Well, I understand.
What'd they do with the money when it was 19 cents a kilowatt?
I don't know.
They were overstaffed. They were significantly overstaffed. We had, 65 employees then? That's what they did. They filled the pockets of those people who shouldn't have been employed here at that time. That's what they did. Now we're properly staffed. Well, or even understaffed. We need to get the police department a few officers here. But that's what they did. They filled the pockets of their friends who they hired back then.
And Mr. Stowe, you can't look backwards. We got to look forwards. So if you had to pick tonight, if you were sitting here, do you want to raise your electric rate 25% or raise your taxes? Which one do you want?
Tax rate increase, I believe, last year was 1.5 or 1.8. Is that right?
1.5.
1.8.
Which was an average of what, $80 on a $100,000 home?
Something like that.
Or we can do, in lieu of that, we could do just raise the electric rates to match PP&L and take that extra revenue we get and use it to fund everything else.
The way to do it without raising taxes, if you truly want to do it the right way and let the electric department run as its own business, which it should, so that we're not doing this transfer I've spoken ad nauseum about, then you have to tell me as a resident, what do you want me to cut on the general fund side?
Well, just with what you just said, that the electric business should run as it should,
Mhm.
well, what does that mean?
It means that our general fund shouldn't be funded from transfers from the electric department. The only reason we're raising taxes is because of prior mismanagement, where they kept, as Scott has pointed out, hiring people, taking on the hits from inflation without accounting for them, and therefore the general fund budget continues to do this, but they're not raising taxes, not raising taxes, not raising taxes. Over a decade, Jack. Think about that. Think about what's happened in a year and a half with the current administration and inflation. So over a decade, the borough does nothing in terms of taxes and then expects people not to be surprised when it's time to raise taxes. It's ludicrous. They just kept saying, okay, any revenue we make from the electric fund, let's stick over here and take care of the general fund budget. And then when something like the Spruce Street substation comes up, right, you are now paying a bond on that. Why? Because we took this money from the electric fund to cure the general fund, whereas if we would have left it over there, you would have paid zero, because the electric department would make revenue. You stick the revenue back into your business. The Spruce Street substation is paid for in cash from the electric department, and the general fund is balanced. That's the way it should be. It's not. We are so far in the hole because of that prior mismanagement that it's going to take 5 years to get out of it, thanks to the idea of Rich here. So I respectfully disagree with you. Unless you can tell me substantially what to cut on the general fund side, I think that we're stuck in the cyclical pattern.
Well, at previous meetings, I mentioned we have 4 transformers. Put the 4 transformers out at Spruce Street and just buy one down at Mill Street and put it up higher up next to the police station. And I'm kind of remember the solicitor saying you could use trust fund money for that. So if you keep the
No,
4
you
you
can't.
have,
You can't.
No, you
Nope.
can't.
I
that
think you did say if it came in at First Street, or at
At
Mill.
If it's coming in as, if it's connecting to
At
the.
Mill
outs-
Street.
Yeah,
Yeah, you did say.
But not Spruce Street.
Not
not Spruce.
What? Well, let me back up. Maybe I said that wrong. Put the 4 transformers we have now at Spruce Street and buy one new one down for Mill Street and put it next to the police station, then it'd be 6 or 8 feet higher than what it is now. And you could use trust fund money for it, and you wouldn't even have to float a bond.
Are you an electrical engineer?
I wish Greg was here. He could really
Yeah,
help with this
Greg
conversation.
could probably help us, but
Yeah.
I mean, I do like, I don't even know if that's possible or doable. I wouldn't even make that recommendation, even with my knowledge on.
Well, we're gonna buy 2 transformers, and when,
Yeah, but it may not be. You may not be. I mean, you may not electrically be able to do that. You know,
There are circuits, existing circuits coming
you're-
from those substations.
you're talking about massive engineering. That's very easier said than done. Just to spew that out is.
well, what I just said doesn't change nothing. You buy a new one for Mill Street, next to the police station, and put the other ones out there, and that's not changing nothing. That's where the transformers are now. They're out on Spruce Street, and they're down on, Ray Street. So that's not changing nothing. So I don't see the engineering,
He's saying we can just use the money to get there. I think is what he's trying to get, right?
I'm saying don't buy 2. You got 4 now. I'm pretty sure 3 Mile Island, they test their transformers from time to time. Have we ever tested the 4 we had?
I have no idea what we.
They get tested and they get serviced, but they are also 50 years old, and it's not necessarily the transformers, it's the control houses that control the transformers, which are obsolete at this point, and you can't get parts for them. I mean, they were made by Alice Chalmers, a tractor manufacturer, made our transformer control houses back in 1970. So, you know, there's a lot of different variables into this. It's not like you can just pluck one thing up and sit it somewhere else. It's a big process. It's not as simple as unhooking 2 wires and moving transformers.
Yeah, I can only imagine the process. I mean, the way my mind's going off right now, I'm thinking of 50 different variables to make a project like that happen.
Also keep in mind who you're comparing municipalities here, Jack. Like Lower Sotera's on here. Lower Sotera is ever growing. This is landlocked. We lost how much taxable real estate from the floods. We're not ever going to get that back. So this community shrunk, and yet has to continue to foot the bill of the services that were always here before the flood, and ongoing, and increases with inflation. And if you look at Steelton, that's one that's, you could say comparable,
Yeah.
because it's more to our geographic, and they're higher than us.
Yeah, the other thing you have to realize is in Pennsylvania, we have a unique state constitutional provision where we have to have the same millage for commercial and residential. So when you go into like a Dairy Township, a Hamden Township, Lower, you got shopping centers, you got warehouses, you got, $100 million things one after the other, paying taxes. You can only really look, and you look at townships, like Londonderry Township with all the new, commercial developments, the warehouses, they used to have 3 Mile Island, major taxpayers. They don't have to have police department. They don't have sewage treatment. They don't have old, 200-year-old infrastructure. They aren't apples. You can never compare millage rates with different kind of municipalities.
In
They're
100
just
years,
irrelevant.
Dairy Township's gonna be in the same boat as we are. They're gonna be fixing their sewer plant, their sewer stuff that's.
Yeah, but there's also going to be
Well,
a
yeah, they're
Hershey
gonna
Park
keep-
kind of
yeah,
thing going
yeah,
on.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is when you look at Steelton or High Spire or the city of Harrisburg, they're similarly situated, but you can't, it's just not, in Pennsylvania, it's not, an appropriate comparator to just say, look at, 2% over here versus 10% over there versus.
I mean, the other thing we
90%
could
there.
do is we could ask the county to reassess all the properties in town to raise the property values, the assessed values, and then we won't need as much money. So we could assess your property at $130,000, which might be what it's worth today, and then we don't have to raise the taxes.
Well, the county only can do countywide reassessment.
Well, but we could pressure them to ask them to do that.
Well, they'd have to do the whole.
But if that's what he wants, I mean, that's what we could do.
I'm just saying, they're not a real comparator. You just can't do a list like this and say, you are twice as much, and, it's just the reality of, you have to fund services and you have to divide it over the property that's in there, and whatever the nature of the property is, it is. But constitutionally, Article 8, Section 1 of the Pennsylvania Constitution is a uniformity of tax provision. It's probably unique in the country. I mean, you don't go other places where commercial properties don't pay any more millage than a residential property. But that's the hand we're dealt here in Pennsylvania.
I would say in just as short time as 6 months from now, you'll be thanking us for our electric rates, because just look at the country. Look at California. They're freezing people's, now they're making people turn off their electric.
They can't charge their cars that
they
want them to get.
Just wait. Just wait till things go through the roof. And we're still standing here at our millage. You're going to be coming in here saying thank you. I mean it. I'm nervous for the country as a whole with energy. It's going to be an energy crisis, in my opinion. I don't want to get globally on it, but
I am willing to go with you to a school board meeting, however, if you want to talk about that millage rate, which you failed to mention.
Well, we don't have any control over that, but I'll agree with you on that.
We have control.
You have control. You're a taxpayer. You're paying it.
We have control.
They raised your taxes this year. No one talks about the school district. It's always Middletown, but Middletown didn't raise them for a decade. Look at the school district compared to every other.
and what are you
Yeah.
getting? They raise their taxes. What are you getting for it? What service are you getting for it?
Nothing.
They don't even have a school resource officer.
Nope, no security.
Maybe we should go ask them what you're getting for your money.
Well, my last thought is, I don't see any difference between raising your taxes or raising your electric, so, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stowe.
Thanks, Jack.
Don't put that 4 minutes up for me if you break it in between. Thank you for your explanations, because I learned a lot of things from that. First of all, thank you, Mayor Curry, for the wonderful fireworks display Saturday. Beautiful again.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
2 other things. I understand with what was proposed or what is going to happen, we're paying an incentive to our police officers for schooling.
Mhm.
So way back when, if we went to school and we were reimbursed, we had to sign an agreement saying, I'll be there for 5 or 10 or 15 years in order.
Yeah, we probably should have explained that. We have that in, they have to be here 3 years or they pay it back.
Thank you very much for that,
Yeah.
because there's stuff that,
Yeah, we should have pointed that out.
Yeah.
That's,
Good point.
there is a clawback if they don't stay. And
when you were talking about electric and Ian, about California and how they're hurting, are we gonna miss the boat? I'm really surprised that we don't have electric charging stations at the new railroad station. I'm really surprised that it technically hasn't been brought up here before you guys about seeking something for electrical charging stations
point.
within the borough.
We have.
But
Yeah,
it's
that is true. I
here
can
and
put
gone.
stations.
We have brought it up.
You hear, but you don't hear anything as they report back on it. Is it feasible? Is it possible? Is it gonna take 20 years? Is it gonna take 30 years to get it? That's what I'm getting at, Scott. I mean, the
Why doesn't the
communication
train station
seems
have
to
it?
be
It's brand new.
It's a great
stretched
point.
very well, and
That is.
you guys do a great job, but that's all. Have a great day. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you.
It's a good point.
Any other public comment?
Hi.
I'm sorry I'm late. I'm Carolyn Whittle, and I live 229 Market Street, right here in Middletown. I have a couple things I'd like to say. First, I'd like to say, I hate it that you guys meet the first Tuesday of the month, because I also go to school board meetings. And it's terrible that you have to choose. And mostly, I chose school board meetings because I had kids. Well, now I'm at that stage where my kids are gone. I try to take those school board meetings every now and then. So let me tell you what they do with their money. They're building too many things. We got too many new schools, and we have people coming from wherever they live, because everybody wants to go to Middletown because you have such good schools here. But we don't have enough teachers. We don't have enough minority people to show that, oh, you don't have to just be a janitor. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being a janitor, but these are the things we're trying to incorporate in our school board, diversity. So there's a lot going on in that school board, as well as this junk about the football team. That is unbelievable stuff that's happened. It's almost embarrassing. Now, about your meetings, I love to attend these meetings, but like I'm saying, you school board, I want to know about what's going on in our district. My husband is a townie. All his people are townies. So I hear secondhand what Middletown is like. Well, I've been here a couple of years, a lot of years. And I do see changes. They're slow. I understand finances make things slow. But I really am happy to know that you're doing something about these parks, because my concern was what's going on for our children. I got grandkids now, and it's like, you can't take them to a park. And
Right.
when I was riding around the other day, I noticed there's going to be a new park down there on, I don't know your street, Spruce or whatever is down there, when you go down the hill. And then I thought, let me go to Huffer Park. I remember that. So I see you're starting to do something over there, which is really wonderful.
We're going to have the best parks in Pennsylvania.
We got to do something, because our children that can't all go up to the other areas that are really nice need to have places that they
Right.
feel are just as nice here. When I bring my relatives here from Maryland, I like to take them around and say, this is Middletown, not Mayberry. And it's so important, because I am from Maryland, and it's like, so to this place for me was culture shock. But I'm telling you, like I said, it's so many things that are so nice about Middletown. That's why people want to live here. So my complaint now, because my husband won't come and say anything, is, what's wrong about the parking? We own our home for forever, and it's getting harder and harder to park on Market Street. And I understand people that rent need a place to park as well as people that own. But it's like people are so rude. They just will park anywhere. And I don't know if we have the right. I keep telling them, don't go tell people don't park in front of your house. You don't own the street. But when you're a townie, you know, something happens up here to you, because they just feel like, you know, you can go tell people straight out, I'm not parking up in your area. Don't you park down in my area. And some people hear that, and some people don't. And the way things are going, it's like, my husband's too old to be outside saying this kind of stuff. Because young people don't want to hear that. So what is the rule? Do you really have a right to tell somebody you can't park in front of my spot?
Not on a public street,
I thought I knew what I was talking about.
unfortunately.
But
Public.
you can tell anybody with anything you want. But
It's the way you
there
tell 'em.
might be a dispute.
It's the way you tell them.
Yes.
Well, anyway, that's what I was concerned about, because the parking's getting harder and harder. But I do think you're doing a pretty good job. I'm not gonna say a great job, because you still don't have any color on this group here. And I'll probably be dead and gone by the time you get some, because every time I talk to somebody about trying to come to the meetings or participate, you would not believe the stuff people tell you. But I'm just too old to do anything about some of this stuff, but.
Run for office.
Thank you for
Keep trying.
Let's, on the subject of the parks, yes, the Little Middletown project is getting going, and that is going to be magnificent. But concurrently with the building of Little Middletown, the council has started working with HRG on a master plan for parks and green spaces all over town. And we are going to be doing a public meeting, we don't have a date, late October, November sometime, for the community to come, to sort of hear some thinking about it, but even more importantly, to hear from the community ideas for the parks. So that will be up on the borough's website.
How are you gonna get the community? That's what else I noticed. The community does not come.
I know.
I mean, unless something's really going wrong, people don't come. And I'm saying it as a minister. I
Look
mean,
behind you. There's nobody in, the seats are empty.
That's true.
But yeah, it's like I try to remind myself it's a meeting, but like I said, you can only
Yeah.
make so many meetings, but
It's
I
true.
try to encourage people. I say, well, how about you go to the council meeting, I'll go to the school board meeting,
Yeah.
But it doesn't help too much. But maybe publicize it. Put it on TV, do something to get it out. Put it in the schools too. Ask the schools to give kids a little paper. They bring home everything else. Take a paper home saying,
Yeah.
community meeting.
Serve food. Food helps.
Not that much anymore.
Ms. Whittle?
Yes.
So first I want to say I totally sympathize with the very first point you made about the school board meetings being the same night as these meetings, because I would request council to take a look at that as we move into the next scheduling year.
Yep, I agree.
It needs to be changed, because I have kids in the school, I too would like to go to them, but then I'd have to skip this, which is my elected responsibility. So that needs to be changed.
And we need to confirm with them what they're doing first.
Right. Right. And then with regard to the parking, I sympathize with that as well. Public parking, but I don't know if you have any, if you were able to watch the one presentation, but we're like 65% rental at this point. So what happens is a single family home becomes a rental, meaning more
Two or
cars.
three
Also, families have more cars than they used to 20 years ago. So we're eating up the
Well, we're
public parking.
fortunate, we can park in our backyard, but then my husband's so sick about the grass, I just park anywhere on the front and keep the peace, but
I hear you.
Mr.
it's
Seitz?
crazy.
Two things. Can somebody reach out to the school board to make sure what date they're gonna do? So we don't go to Monday and then they go to Tuesday, or Monday and vice versa.
Right.
We need to coordinate.
Go to them,
Yeah.
whether that's you or Ken.
Their
or
main
somebody.
meeting is the same night as
Yeah,
yours,
go-
and they do have other meetings
I think
in
that's
the
the third
month.
Tuesday
They
as
do.
well. though.
So
They
we
just mirror
go
us.
to them and ask
They
them.
do. First.
Because we don't want to change it, and then next thing we know, they're changing it to Monday. And then the other thing, are we still seeking people for that committee? And then
What
the other
committee?
day,
For the,
Ken sent out that email about,
Oh, the steering committee.
for the park.
oh, the steering committee for the park, yes.
Because, I mean, if we are we still,
Maybe Ms.
are we
Will-
still seeking people for that committee?
Yes, we
Yes.
are. Oh, she's walking out.
I got enough on my plate
Because your husband.
Oh, my husband won't even go to the Giant, he goes to cars and he'll sit in the car and wait for me. But I could suggest.
Well, but we are
Right,
still
I hear
seeking
you.
people.
You'd have my vote for on the
Well, there,
committee.
I mean, but if you know people that want to be involved, right?
There you go.
When is, you said at the end of October?
The public meeting, is towards the end of October. Yeah, we don't have a date yet, which reminds us we need to get a date.
Yeah, send a flyer home with your children.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
yeah.
We do have a date, Ellen. It's just either the 16th or the 19th. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's the 16th.
Oh, okay. I stand
That's
corrected.
what it is.
Of October?
That one will change, Grace. You can put that one on
Is that meeting here?
the website.
Meeting here?
Probably the gym. I don't know that we've decided, but a
MCSO?
larger space. Yeah, the MCSO.
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's bad.
October 16th is a Sunday.
Maybe the
Huh.
school board would be kind enough to grace us with their
Auditorium.
auditorium.
They would, they would. Dr. Honey would work with you.
That's true. That's true.
You ask them.
Yeah.
That's true.
Ask them on behalf of us.
I will. But Sunday's still not a good day, but that's.
No, yeah. No, wouldn't be Sunday.
The 16th is a Sunday.
Yeah, it's a Sunday.
I'm sorry, I don't have the date.
And the 19th is a budget meeting night, so, We'll have to follow up.
We do have a date. I'll just have to.
But we do have a date. Gotcha.
I'll just put a buzzer on it.
And this park is being remodeled too.
Yeah.
Park right over here is being remodeled.
Oh, good.
What's the date on that, Matt?
Which thing, I'm sorry.
Over, dear.
Over there.
That's on pause
Yes.
because of funding.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we just spent $1 million tonight in parks. I think we just approved, what, $1 million, or $500,000 in payments? And they were just first
Yeah.
first draws. It is paid for, yes, but we still spend it. Hey, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting? Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I say something to Carolyn? They video the meetings, and if you go to the webpage the next day, you can watch them.
I know, but I like to, when
Well,
I watch it,
I agree with you, it's not the same, all right.
But I'll thank you, I will keep that in mind.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? We will be going to executive session. We will not be coming back out.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. Good evening.